The Genius Club with Prairie Pine. Chapter 47, Authorization. Alex was a little confused. He lifted the first page of the authorization certificate, and as he had thought, the papers below were various experimental data and reports, probably notes on preparing this chemical substance. Didn't you say you would consider selling this chemical substance only after the hibernation chamber filling liquid was completely finished? Ethan chuckled and patted Alex on the shoulder. I've been researching this field for a long time. Just looking at the manuscript you gave me earlier, I knew it was genuine. Not to mention you've now helped me check for omissions, fill in gaps, and correct the wrong formulas. With these standard answers in front of me, I can completely develop the hibernation chamber filling liquid soon. Maybe even tonight, you might receive good news from me. So, developing the hibernation chamber filling liquid is just a matter of time. What's the difference between selling this failed product now and selling it in a few days? Alex flipped back to the exclusive authorization certificate and said, But Professor, there's no mention of price or profit sharing in this authorization certificate. And the authorized person here. Before he could finish, Ethan folded the authorization certificate directly, put it back into the file bag with the other materials, and stuffed it into Alex's arms. Since I've granted you exclusive authorization, it now belongs entirely to you, and the right to profit is naturally yours. You can decide how much to sell it for. As for the price you paid me, Ethan patted the manuscript Alex had delivered. Haven't you already paid it? More than enough. Moments later, without giving Alex a chance to speak, Ethan directly pushed him out of the laboratory door. I'll make up the official authorization certificate later. Give these materials to your company's R&D department. They'll understand them all. With that, he closed the laboratory door and began his research alone. Alex stared at the thick file bag in his hand. The surprise had come too suddenly. According to what Emma had said earlier, a single authorization was worth millions of dollars, not to mention the subsequent sales sharing. He had suddenly become a multi-millionaire. However, this was Ethan's kind gesture, even a token of gratitude. It would be impolite of him to refuse outright. What's more, once Professor Hughes successfully develops the hibernation chamber, filling liquid, he'll be swimming in Nobel Prizes and national subsidies. The whole world will treat him like a treasure. He definitely won't be short of money. After thinking it over and finding no reason to hesitate, Alex decided to accept this kindness. It was truly an unexpected gain. Perhaps good people really do get good rewards. Alex took a taxi back to the company to attend the morning meeting. I should have taken the subway, Alex muttered. He had underestimated the traffic near ECU University on Monday morning. He had thought taking a taxi would get him to the company faster, but instead it backfired. He was stuck in traffic for more than an hour. By the time he finally arrived at the company, the morning meeting hosted by Emma had already started. Sure enough, I'm late. Alex carefully knocked on the conference room door, and the finance team leader who was reporting inside suddenly stopped. Alex pushed the door open and directly met Emma's gaze. Sorry, Director Emma. I'm late, he said, pointing to the file bag in his arms. I went to sit down first. You can talk about it during your report. Emma interrupted him directly, then looked at the finance team leader and signaled her to continue reporting on last week's work. The finance team leader picked up where she had left off. Alex had no choice but to close the conference room door, walked around, and quietly sat down at his seat at the very end. You dare to be late for the morning meeting? You're bold, brother, the logistics team leader beside him whispered. He didn't even dare to turn his head, pretending to listen attentively. Alex smiled helplessly. He didn't want to be late either. Who could have expected such a traffic jam near EC University? Soon, the finance team leader finished her report, and it was the R&D team leader's turn. The R&D team leader came to complain. He said it was impossible to develop a competitive new product in such a limited time. If they launched those immature products to make up the numbers, it would instead damage the brand image and even MX Company's reputation. He suggested postponing the press conference if necessary. Next, the marketing team leader, the publicity team leader, and other team leaders all followed suit, complaining repeatedly. They kept saying that without Professor Hughes's authorization, the Rhine brand had no competitiveness at all. It might soon be forgotten. Between the lines, they all hoped Emma would go back on her word and make another effort to get through to Professor Hughes. The entire conference room was filled with low morale, with sighs everywhere. But even though she was the target of everyone's implied criticism, Emma held her ground and didn't refute anything. She just listened patiently to each team leader's report one by one and took notes silently. Alex twirled his pen and looked at Emma. Personally, he admired her a lot. Emma had always treated him well, and he really liked the atmosphere at MX Company. So this time, he decided to help Emma. On one hand, he would have to monetize his authorization anyway. Selling it to another company was not as good as selling it to Emma. On the other hand, Alex was still very curious about what was written on the Genius Club invitation Emma had received. This was a chance to gain Emma's favor and trust. If one day Emma trusted him enough, maybe he would have the chance to find out the password to the office's code door, or even stay alone in that office. At that time, he might be able to sneak a look at that invitation. That's right. Alex only planned to take a quick peek. He would never reveal his purpose in front of Emma. Because, according to the worst-case scenario, if Emma had already joined the Genius Club, and the Genius Club was an evil organization that needed to hide all traces, would his obvious interest in the Genius Club bring him danger? Safety first. Only by staying alive could he keep exploring and progressing. The logistics team leader finished his report. Emma looked up at Alex and said, "Alex, it's your turn to report on your work. Is there anything you want to say?" Alex nodded, pushed the thick file bag in front of him to the middle of the conference table. "Everyone has misunderstood Director Emma. In fact, we've been promoting this matter privately. I think everyone has heard that Professor Hughes came to our company a few days ago. This morning, I went to EC University again to see Professor Hughes and have obtained the exclusive authorization for this chemical substance." Dozens of eyes shot at him like lasers, with eyes wide as walnuts. "So," Alex smiled slightly, "we can restart Professor Hughes's moisturizer project."